America needs a tidal wave of the old-time religion.
I have sinned against you.
How dare you!
We have no need to doubt God.
The harlot Babylon is preparing the nations to receive the Antichrist.
I didn't even build that house with money from the church. I built it with money from my book.
I don't make this stuff up.
Repenting of your sin.
It is a moral issue.
They got together and swore a pact to the devil.
I just enjoy seeing people worship, praising God.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Believe It or Not.
The show where we believe it.
Or not.
Maybe.
Or maybe.
It's up to you.
It's up to you guys. I'm Trevor Poelman.
And I'm Damien Doepping.
And Damien.
Yes.
Do you want to read the Bible with me?
No, but we'll do it.
Okay. If I had the t-shirt I used to wear around high school, I would read it off the back of that because I used to wear a t-shirt.
You had the whole Bible on your t-shirt?
That'd be amazing. But I had this passage on my t-shirt. That would be probably something Kanye West would do, is like
I feel like
the whole Bible on a
I feel
t-shirt.
like it would just say Bible on
That's
the
true.
t-shirt.
Yeah. It'd be like, I put the whole Bible. That was my Kanye West. Pretty good. So this is found in Matthew 28, verse 16 to 20, or better known as
Matthew Good.
The Great. He was good. The Great Commission.
Oh, okay. Matthew Great.
Matthew Great. Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded. And surely I am with you always, to the very ends of the age."
Is this about going out and making people believe stuff?
Yep. You gotta go out. You gotta make people believe stuff. We're talking missions.
Oh, no.
Your mission, if you choose to annoy people on the street around the world.
You know what? I think that mission trips would be a lot better is if their Bibles exploded 30 seconds after receiving the message.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then they have to make their own Bible.
Like make it up or try and like recreate the real Bible.
Try to recreate the real Bible, give it to somebody else,
the fact
and then
Bible.
That one explodes.
Oh, it's like broken telephone Bible?
That's pretty much what the Bible is anyway.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's talk about missions. You ever go on a missions trip?
Never.
You ever have a missionary come up to you on the street and try to tell you about the Lord?
I don't think I've ever had one come up to me. Well, I mean, I guess I have seen... these aren't. I don't think they're missions. Like the people who have the Watchtower.
Oh yeah. I guess they would call themselves missionaries.
Magazine salespeople.
Yeah. We still have to put our Mad magazines in there.
True.
In their magazine rack.
True.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be no more Mad magazine.
Right.
R.I.P.
Cracked. We'll have to. Do they have Cracked?
Cracked's been gone for a few years now.
What do people even read anymore?
I guess we'll have to put Highlights magazine in there.
Yeah.
Is that still around?
I think so.
Better be.
I think Highlights was in the news recently. I think for like taking a stance on immigration.
Really?
Like a positive, like left-leaning stance on immigration or something like that.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
That's
I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I think other than that, not really.
Okay.
I mean, it might have, and I just like, does that guy at Young and Dundas who says believe?
I guess so. He's following the Great Commission. He's going out and making disciples.
I have then.
Okay.
I knew people in high school who would go on mission trips and stuff, and it was always weird.
Did they like fundraise and stuff? Or like?
I didn't know those people well enough.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
Okay.
So
I was recently at a fundraiser for a missions trip. I went to pick up my brother at church. And because he's in the band, and they were all set up for like a missions trip for fundraising and stuff. It's a silent auction. I was thinking about bidding on some stuff.
Mm-hmm. But you can keep quiet?
I couldn't keep quiet. They kicked me out. They're like, "Sir, this is a silent auction."
It's just such a good deal.
When I Googled missionaries or missions trips.
You got missionary position?
Yeah, I got missionary position. I was using the wrong search engine. And then when I switched to Google... in safe mode, I got a lot of ads for mission organizations.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, pretty much more ads than anything I've ever Googled. More ads came up, like really targeted. We want you to use our mission company. So it's kind of big business going on a missions trip.
Well, how much money is involved in this? Do we know?
Quite a bit. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. sending people out to like rural places around the world and building barns or churches.
It's like travel tourism. Or
Yeah.
what's the one? It's a type of tourism where you go and you do like social work. And
oh
stuff.
yeah, like
there's a name for it.
yeah. Oh yeah, we shared that video on our Facebook page.
Yeah, same
By
idea.
Now where it's like,
but this is about the good Lord.
Yeah, the good Lord, and yeah. One of the biggest missionary organizations, of course, is the LDS Church, Latter-day Saints Church, Mormons. But they're very structured. They send out more missionaries kind of than any other organization. There's more, I guess, kind of Christian Protestant missionaries out there. It's just there's a bunch of different organizations that will send them out.
There's probably a higher percentage of Mormons who go on mission trips than others, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Just by virtue of the thing that they believe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Well, Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, they built it right into what they're doing is that you have to do these missions, basically. Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. Jehovah's Witnesses more throughout their life and LDS more at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question. Is there a religion where you don't have to do anything that I could get in? Like, what's an easy religion for me to join?
Well, some people say atheism's a religion.
I guess.
They're wrong.
Okay.
But you could join that one. You could agree with them and then join that, and then it's pretty easy.
Because I mean, I don't want to have to go to church if I don't want, because I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to have to do missions because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to submit my will to a higher power because I don't want to do that.
There's got to be something.
Is there anything
what
left?
about dudism? Is that the Big Lebowski one?
The dude abides?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of weirdos who follow that.
That's true.
So no weirdos.
It's like, yeah, we get it. The Coen brothers, they're good filmmakers.
Yeah.
Move along. Yeah. So yeah, the missionaries have been a thing in Christianity since the beginning, since St. Paul. Mm-hmm. That was his whole thing, was going around making disciples all over the world. They kind of expanded it from, just Jewish people can be Christians to everybody can be Christians, and you don't even have to cut the tip of your penis off.
And they still did.
Yeah. And you got to be baptized, but you don't have to. You can keep your whole dick.
R.I.P. the tip of my dick.
Yeah. But they went out and kind of said, okay, we're gonna get the whole world, and that just continued as a trend throughout. It wasn't conquering anymore, though there was a lot of that. It was converting.
Yeah. Well, I know the Romans did a lot of that when they would come in and they would kind of assimilate people's religions with theirs at the time too.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Constantine came along.
Just like, oh, let's make it Christian.
Yeah, so he's like, more people are converting. It's going to be easier to if I convert to Christianity, and then that becomes a state religion.
Yeah,
and that changed a lot.
Can you if the Queen changed her religion, the Queen of England, changed her religion right now? Do you think all of England would be like, okay? And then they would join.
Well, she's technically the head of the Anglican Church, right?
Yeah, which I think is weird.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
It's a weird thing. Yeah.
Monarchies in general, no more.
No, I agree. Let's get rid of them.
I'm all about our political dynasties. Yeah. Those families.
Yeah, the Trudeaus and the
Kennedys and the Trumps. Yeah.
Don Jr. 2020.
That's true. I'm hoping for Eric Trump.
2024, sorry. Yeah, he'd be good too.
He'd be great.
Yeah.
Baroness is running mate.
I was thinking about Baroness today, and by the time this gets out, of course, hopefully Trump will be impeached. But
doesn't mean he won't be in office, though.
Do you think Baroness is living a life like that? What's that movie? Baron. Do you think Baron is living that life?
Baroness von Sketch.
Baroness von Sketch. What's that movie with a kid living in the White House?
Oh, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, though.
It's just with all that's going on in politics, we don't stop and think about bringing down the house. No, that's Queen Latifah. Bringing down the White House. We'll find it.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll put it up and we'll be like, how did he not know this?
Exactly. Yeah, so missions all through the Middle Ages. A lot of times missions, though, did involve a sword. Mm-hmm. Not always, but quite often it was convert or die. That was kind of,
like
Crusade. Yeah.
Is that what the Crusades were? Were just basically like missions trips? Or were
basically,
they were searching for the Holy Grail, but was it also to be like...
Yeah, it was like to get Muslims out of the Holy Land, really.
Right.
They just didn't want Muslims in Jerusalem.
So not a lot's changed then.
Yeah, no, not really. A lot of mission organizations will use the word crusade, or have in the past used the word crusade. It's like,
That's
no.
I think they... Yeah. Maybe we should just turn that whole area into an amusement park where anyone can go.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll solve it.
Yeah.
But who gets the admission price?
Right.
Six Flags.
Probably Six Flags. Let's talk about some famous missionaries.
Uh-huh.
Apostle Paul, we spoke of.
Yeah.
He was in the Bible.
Pasta Paul.
And sorry, I want to go back to Constantine. I said that Pastor Paul. Yeah, this is my roommate, Pastor Paul. He always makes pasta.
I don't know why that tickled me so.
But sorry, back to Constantine. I said that he used religion because he thought it'd be the easy one. But also, it's possible the other way is that he saw a giant cross in the sky during battle and immediately converted.
Yeah, that's probably more likely that.
Yeah, so I apologize for that. That's the official history, and I shouldn't argue.
What's that song? Wheel in the sky, keep on. I don't think it has anything to do with it. But what if he saw a wheel in the sky?
Yeah. Well, that's from Ezekiel too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
The wheel in the middle of the wheel. Ezekiel saw a wheel in the sky.
Is that how cavemen discovered the wheel?
Probably.
Probably.
It's probably a lot of like ancient aliens will use that as an example of that Ezekiel saw a UFO. That's what he's looking
okay.
at. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. But so Apostle Paul rode to Damascus. He sees Jesus, and he's like, Pastor Paul sees Jesus, and he's like, he was Pastor Saul, and then he became Pastor Paul.
How did he go from Saul to Paul?
Jesus changed his name.
Why?
Because he didn't.
That's rude.
I know. He's like,
I thought you were supposed to be like, my Lord and Savior, accept me, and help me.
Changes. He changes you from the inside out. Well, I saw a comic recently where it was, it's like, all right, Simon the fisherman, here are all your business cards. And then he meets Jesus, and Jesus is like, from now on, you'll be known as Peter.
That's good. I wonder if like the first thing when you get to heaven is Jesus gives you a new cool name.
No, that'd be, what would you pick?
Well, I can't pick. Jesus has to.
Oh, right. But if you could.
If I was Jesus, what would I pick for me? I don't know. Probably Alec.
Oh, that's good.
With a K.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
St. Patrick was a famous missionary.
Oh, the leprechaun.
The little leprechaun man. He
ate all the snakes.
He ate all the snakes in Ireland, but really that's a metaphor for him kicking sin out of Ireland.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think there ever were snakes in Ireland.
Yeah. Well, they're not anymore since he came along.
There are no frost giants either.
Exactly.
So, thank you.
Yep.
Was it Odin who did that?
I think Odin did that.
Thank you, Odin.
Yeah, thanks, Odin. William Carey was a British Christian missionary, Baptist minister, and he did things in Calcutta, and he brought missions there to India, and is famous for his missions, and he was known as the father of modern missionaries.
Oh boy!
So spreading the word of the Lord to India. David Livingstone, have you heard of him?
The name's familiar.
He went to Africa, and a famous line where he met a scholar. Who did he meet? Henry Morton Stanley in 1871, and that's where the popular quote, Dr. Livingstone, I presume. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, is that a real line in real life?
And that was a real line in real life.
Oh.
Why did that catch on?
I don't know.
I
thought it was a bad movie quote.
Yeah.
Like, get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty apes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. But he saw a white guy, I think, and that's probably him. They probably had a lot more white people than in Africa. I don't know.
I think it depends where in Africa.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
That's true. Like we were watching, I was watching Ernest Goes to Africa recently, and they never referred to any places in Africa. They just, like, everything was somewhere in Africa.
Well, that's how a lot of movies do things, so, to be fair. Not fair, but,
yeah.
Jim Varney, R.I.P.
James Hudson Taylor was a guy.
This is the in memoriam episode
yeah, exactly. He lived in from 1832 to 1905, and he brought Jesus to China. So good for him, I guess.
How's he doing in China?
I think he's doing great. I think there's a big church movement in China. There's a lot of big mega churches and stuff there. I think they're they're doing their thing.
Yeah. That's a word for it.
Eric Henry Liddell was a Olympic gold medalist. Have you seen Chariots of Fire?
No, but I know of it, and I know like the song,
the
slow motion.
Yeah,
and that was done in every funny sketch that anyone did for about 15 years.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he refused to run in the 100-meter dash or in the 100-meter race because it was on a Sunday. So he had to retrain for the 400-meter race because it wasn't on a Sunday.
That's the stupidest story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Eric Liddell cared.
Who fucking cares? Oh my
so
God,
dumb.
what a terrible story that is. Why would you make a movie out of that?
I don't know. Well,
Did that win awards? Fuck those people.
I think it won Best Picture.
Whoever voted for that movie is an idiot.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
That's dumb.
I think it was more about his rivalry with another
that's fine.
Olympic person, and I think they called him an idiot a couple times, but he was kind of shown as a hero.
That's better then.
Yeah.
This is like Rocky versus Ivan Drago.
Yeah. It's just a movie about a guy who won't work on a day of the week.
Yeah.
He won't run fast on a day
Maybe
of
I'll
the week.
stop working Sundays. That might be fun.
Mm-hmm. And of course, our favorite person of all time, I think maybe somebody who's done so much good.
Is it Mommy T?
It's Mommy T.
Oh, yeah.
Mommy T. Mother Teresa was a missionary to India.
Yeah.
By missionary, we mean didn't really do anything nice.
No.
Yeah.
She's not good.
Yeah. She just, missionary position. Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah.
Hitchens.
Yeah.
She wasn't a very kind person.
No.
She really believed in like suffering and like penance through suffering and forgiveness through suffering.
Rather than helping people.
Yeah.
Actually helping people.
Yeah. So she encouraged.
They've been accelerating her sainthood too, which is another weird thing. It's this weird cult of personality, which, ideologically you'd think would clash with the church, but in a weird way, it's pretty on brand.
Yeah, it's really on brand. Yeah, and that's the thing too is I think it's been delayed a couple times because like as they do research, they find more and more awful things, but then they bring it back up because she's so beloved that everybody's like, no, we want her to be sainted. So it doesn't matter what they find out about her.
Yep.
It's just this, the cult of personality.
Ah, man, we've seen this so many times.
Yeah.
It's what happens again and again and again.
Yeah.
A few examples we can think of right now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That we won't name.
Yeah, it's like how people, just insist on watching Woody Allen movies.
Yeah, well, I said that we wouldn't name, but okay. That we put them on blast.
I'm sorry.
Just like our landlord.
But then in the 1949,
post-war,
the Methodist Board of Missions approved a program for college students to go on short-term missions trips, and it kind of as a way to test to see if they want to do full-term missions. But it started this trend.
What's a full-term mission?
Full-term mission is you go and you move to a place and you live
forever?
there for at least a couple years.
Oh, so
you set up camp there,
like any Western, and you see like the guy moving into a town, and that's where he lives now.
Yeah, like I have a friend who lives in Japan right now doing missions for like Youth with a Mission, like YWAM. She lives there, kind of permanently with her kids and stuff.
Wow,
that's just like what she does, and that's kind of the old traditional way of doing missions. But then you start to get things like airplanes and faster boats and stuff. And you can send people somewhere for a little while.
It's a lot quicker to get someone there. A lot quicker to get them out.
Yeah, so
get
and
to
youth,
the chopper.
Yeah, and like I said, Youth with a Mission was kind of the big organization that sprung up out of that, and that's still going strong. Still sending people all over the world to spread the word of the Lord.
Yeah, to ignore people's own traditions.
Yeah, exactly.
To supplant them with their own.
Yeah. And kind of sprung out of that and became less about seeing if you want to do full-time missions, and it just became about the short-term missions itself in a lot of ways. And so it became a thing where youth groups would go in the summer or whatever. They'd take 2 weeks off and fundraise all year, and then you send your kids to Mexico for the week. Or,
I mean, cool to go to Mexico for a week.
Yeah. This guy who follows us, or we follow each other on Instagram, he goes by Queer Ex Pastor, and he was talking about how he went down on a missions trip to Mexico. they made bricks for a few days, and then they threw out all the bricks they made because they were low quality.
Yep.
And then they just went to Disneyland.
Well, that's what they say, like a lot of those, and for a lot of those, like the travel tourism things.
Yeah.
Half the time you go there and you do stuff, and then they can't do anything with it. Or
Yeah.
It's not the right quality, so they just have to throw it out and do it all again.
Yeah.
But, it's the money that comes in from it that does more. But I don't know, it takes away from local people, too.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of awful things.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about going on a mission trip, don't.
Yeah.
And if you're still gonna go, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah. What word are we trying to find here? It's not travel tourism. It's like volunteer tourism.
Voluntourism.
Yeah. So that volunteer tourism where you go, you take a cruise, and they have that where you take a cruise and then everybody gets off and you build little spots or whatever, or you like try to do something good for the community or whatever, and then you get back on your cruise and
build an elephant hospital.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. And then, actually, let's talk about some criticisms of missions trips and short-term missions trips. And
I'm sure they'll take these to heart.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they will.
Probably not.
Yeah. But hurting the local economy, like you said.
Yep.
A builder who's skilled and lives in the area and has been doing this his whole life is going to want to charge...
Out of a job.
He's going to want to charge them for what they do, but instead a group of kids who don't know what they're doing come in and do it for free.
Yep, unskilled free labor.
Yeah.
They took our jobs.
Yeah.
Think about that, America.
About that. You're going into Mexico and stealing their jobs.
Yeah.
And and you do bake sales for it.
Yeah. At least these ones will probably pay taxes once they take your jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing, too, with, we posted that video from Now This, and they were talking about how a lot of these places they want there to be a market for this volunteer tourism or the short-term missions trip, so they don't want the area looking better.
Right, so they keep it
in poverty because it's better for their bottom line if you go into this impoverished area.
They can show you some sad-looking kids so you can take good Instagram photos. That's going to make all your friends want to come and take good Instagram photos.
Yeah, exactly. So, whereas you're better off to actually be a tourist, actually go into these areas and buy things at markets and be just a human. You're doing way better things for their area than you would if you did a short-term mission.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's harder to raise money for that, I guess. It's harder to get people to give you money to travel to Puerto Rico or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I find weird too, is that people like sponsor other people to go do this stuff. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's like one of those weird GoFundMes. I'm like, I'm not contributing to this.
Yeah. And another issue is you're going over these places acting like you're some expert in an area because you come from a wealthier part of the world or whatever. That doesn't automatically make you know how to be a doctor or know how to build a irrigation system. Or
wasn't there a story recently about a lady who was doing that?
Yeah,
she had like a clinic.
Yeah, Renee Bach was her name.
Oh,
yeah.
Segue.
Great segue. But yeah, Renee Bach was somebody who went to Uganda as a volunteer at first, and she opened a soup kitchen kind of deal, feeding people, and then she would start the hospital would be like, hey, we have this person who really needs food and really needs to be they're really malnourished. Can you take this person in? So she's like, oh, the hospital's referring people to me now. I'm basically a doctor. And she started just doing more and more medical things.
What a weird kind of connection to make in your mind. That you think that because the hospital's sending you people to feed, that you're like, oh yeah, we want you to be a doctor now.
Well, that's a thing too with a lot of evangelical things like this, and especially if you're somebody who is going into missions and does feel that call, you're also the kind of person who's constantly looking to God for signs. Yeah. And looking to God for how am I going to serve you today? Show me something. And it's like a hospital called me. Oh, maybe I'm a doctor. you know, and it sounds like a huge leap, but it's incremental, right? Like, oh, I'll do this one more medical thing, and eventually she's doing blood transfusions. Like,
I guess. I mean, at the same time, it's like, you know, you're not qualified.
Yeah.
You know that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And to think that you do, it's bananas.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with the being offensive too, like, it's the whole white savior complex.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, like, Instagram is full of these white saviors, and it's just gross. Like,
hey, Trev, it's all we as white people have left.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
True. Hey guys, it's Trevor here. Sometimes what I do is I film comedian sets and stuff like that. And I recorded this set for Chris Sandiford. You may know him from the hilarious show Cavendish. And I think he's in Jack Ryan on Prime. And he's also in a number of other Canadian shows like that Rex, the one with the dog. But anyways, he's one of my favorite comedians. He had this bit that I felt would really work in this spot in the episode. So I'm just going to insert it here. And he said, that's cool. And yeah, I know famous people. Quit bragging.
One thing I've noticed, don't come after me for this, do not come after me. I have noticed that there is a certain type of lady on there that makes me insane. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. I'm your friend, I am your friend. There's a certain type of lady, and it's not everybody. There is a certain type of white lady. Don't worry, it's not all of them. Just some. And there's a certain type of white lady, very few of them, but like it happens all the time, where it's a picture on their profile. There's like a few pictures, and one of the pictures is of them. I guess they're on sabbatical because they're surrounded by black children. I guess they're on a trip. They're like, oh, look at the work that I'm doing. 8 or 9 black children, and they're like, oh, look at the work that look at God's work that I'm doing. I think it's funny that I've never matched with that lady. Think about it. Who's that picture for? If it's not for me. That's purchasing like the highest degree. What are you doing? Look at this, Chris. No, not you. It's not for you. I'm not for you. These kids are my kids. These kids are for me. I don't like that one bit. If you have a picture like that on your Tinder or Bumble, look, you're trying to get dick or pussy on this thing. I can't say the words. Dick or pussy. I don't know. If you have a picture like that on your profile, you have to swipe right. You have to like every brother that likes you. I'm not saying you have to go on a date with them. Just make it so that my phone goes, thumbs up. And I'm like, yeah, I can go take a walk.
Oh, that's going to be...
Yeah. Because, it's always... And the thing is, too, with a lot of these orphanages and stuff...
Yeah.
People go in there, they take these photos with these kids, and it's like, look how much affection this kid is showing to me. And it's because this is all they're used to. They're used to like this rotating door of people coming in, and nobody actually...
I think that was in that video we posted.
Oh, yeah.
Where they talked about that, about how the child is constantly getting attached and then having people leave them.
Yeah.
So that's why they start creating those like kind of bonds so fast, because they're just so used to losing people constantly.
They're clinging immediately, and so you get these like, oh, that's a cute picture. It's this pretty white lady with a poor orphan kid who's just so in love with her or whatever. It's like, that's because he's living a terrible life, and you're just adding to it.
You're there for a week and then you disappear.
Yeah.
So
it's awful. This is a side note. This is actually just something I thought of now, but I was thinking about how so many of these missions groups too, there's the building the church, or they're building the school, and they're bringing T-shirts over that ruin the textile industry and stuff. But they also do a lot of street dances.
Street dances.
Yeah, they'll do like pantomimes on the streets or whatever, where they play a Christian song, and then they do like this a dramatization of the sacrifice Christ made for you. And so it's like people living in sin, and then you're like...
Bad community theater.
Yeah. And they would always use these things as fundraisers to, like, this is a thing we're going to do on the street. So they'd perform these in the churches, and they were always so bad. Man. Remember one where it was this awkward guy in our youth group who went on a missions trip with, like, another youth group in town. So they brought their crew, and they were just so passionate about what they were doing in their army. They did this, like, Army of the Lord like dance where they were like, I'm like, yeah, I don't remember what country it was, but like, you go in there and you're gonna do this like army invasion dance.
Yeah,
do you really think that's a good call?
Probably not, but
what are you doing? Yeah, and it's like another issue is with that white savior thing is the westernization. Like you're destroying local cultures.
Yeah,
obviously local religions because you want people to renounce their.
And you're ruining people's time at church by putting on your shitty plays.
Yep. And we're just there to meet pretty ladies.
Christian singles in your area.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, there's Christian singles in my area who want to meet me, so I think I'm okay.
Yep. And when you can't log back into Christian Mingle, you got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been on Christian Mingle? Is that a personal question?
No, that's not a personal question. Christian Mingle costs money.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
So I always just went on OkCupid and chose Christian. Because you can still like choose what religion on there.
That's like the RC Cola of Christian Mingle.
Exactly. Another awful, fucked up thing is like the sexual abuse.
Right.
That comes into play with a lot of these mission organizations because it's like when we talk about with youth ministry, or it's like when we talk about with anything where you volunteer. Sometimes you want as many volunteers as you can get, and sometimes the background checks suck, and sometimes there's no background checks at all,
and it's a lot of people coming into contact with a lot of very vulnerable people, a lot of very vulnerable young people too.
Yeah, there was a guy, Gregory Dow, who's on trial now, and I think they really want to get him back to Kenya. Like, so he opened this orphanage in Kenya, and then was just a sexual predator. And they want to extradite. Kenya wants him extradited back to Kenya, but the U.S. is trying him. But he had a record here or in the U.S.
They should extradite him.
Yeah. He hurt their kids. And it's just an awful, disgusting situation where, he had a record here. He moves there, opens an orphanage, and who's donating money to him? But I guess if you have a sales pitch, people aren't doing independent.
Yeah, you don't know that
checks.
He's doing that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of the people who did donate didn't know.
Yeah,
that's what was happening. They thought it was a Christian orphanage.
Oh yeah, we're doing great stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna put in the newsletter that they're sending out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wonder how much, and maybe I have it in my research here somewhere too, but I'm sure all of those donations and stuff are tax deductible.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, you're not, I don't know, you don't donate religious institutions and donations and things like that. So I don't know if does that count?
I don't know, because I always remember when getting that pitch, if you donate over $20, it's tax deductible. We'll send you a form or whatever. Right. So it probably is, which is scary in its own. I should note at this point, obviously there's organizations that do good things.
Yeah, no, of course. We're not trying to say that there aren't people who are doing good things, and that there are people who with genuinely good intentions, which I think most people who do go on missions trips are going in with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
That being said, doesn't mean that bad things don't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that because you go in with good intentions, you are doing actual good.
Yeah.
Clarifying. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's also the angle of, you're going there and you're giving aid, but with a condition.
Yeah. With
that condition. It's like soup kitchens, even like Canada and stuff, that will, you can have your bowl of soup after you hear a sermon,
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, there's that catch. It's like the Operation Christmas Child boxes that they send at Christmas, where you fill them with toys, but it's also filled with information about Jesus, and they hand it out with that caveat. It's
gotta have a message or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is something that we've talked about before too, or people when they do good deeds, but then they film it.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's a very self-serving thing.
Yeah, it really.
So,
and even the Bible says, "Don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing." Right.
That's true.
That means that you're not supposed to brag about the good things you're doing.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I thought it was you're supposed to keep your hand in your pocket when you're whacking on.
That's true too. That's probably what it meant.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Spreading diseases is another issue.
Really?
Yeah. Where you go into a place like that. What's that idiot John Chow last year that in 2018 that tried to go to that island off of India and to evangelize, and then they killed him right away because of course they did.
Well, yeah.
And because any time any white people have come into those areas, they wipe out the population of the island.
Yep.
Either through violence or through disease. So, of course, these people are defending themselves.
It's a really weird fascination that people think they have to go to, quote-unquote, save these people.
Yeah. And it depends whose theology you're talking about, too. Like, some people would say, if you've never heard of Christ, then you can't reject Christ, therefore you automatically go to heaven. Yeah. So why would you go and tell them about Christ? Like,
hey, you hear about Christ? Who?
Yeah, now you're going to hell. Yeah. Any thoughts so far, or any questions about missions?
I don't have any questions. Other than why? No. Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard thing, especially if that's a big part of your life, and it's things that you genuinely have been brought up, told that they do good things, and you're always seeing people coming back and giving their stories. Even people who have been there firsthand, and they say like, "Oh, I experienced this. This was good," but at the end of the day, it's something that you have to really overcome.
Yeah,
and it's hard to do.
It's hard to do. Yeah, you think of missionaries as saints. I mean, they named the most fun sexual position after missionaries.
Everyone's favorite.
And then obviously, like, we have everybody's a saint. All the saints were missionaries and stuff. Like,
and all the sinners saints.
And all the sinners saints.
As the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. I'm a sinner, I'm a saint, I'm a lover, I'm a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bitch. Speaking of that, let's go into, I was going to say Christian rock lyrics. Well, that's the name of the segment, even though it's not really rock. So, Christian rock lyrics of the week.
Music of Christian persuasion lyrics.
Of the week.
Of the week.
Can't you see you're not making Christianity better? You're just making rock and roll worse.
This song is called Please Don't Send Me to Africa. This was a song that I would see performed with puppets, or performed as a fun little thing at the church about how, I want to do things for the Lord, but the one thing I don't want to do is go to Africa. So God, whatever you do, don't send me to Africa, because that's a bad place, apparently. So here we go. O Lord, I am your willing servant. You know that I have been for years. I'm here in this pew every Sunday and Wednesday. I've stained it with many a tear.
Wednesdays. Why Wednesday?
Wednesday night Bible studies, baby.
Too many days.
I've given you my years of service. I've given you my best, and I've never asked for anything much. So, Lord, I deserve this request. Please don't send me to Africa. I don't think I have what it takes. I'm just a man. I'm not a Tarzan. Don't like lions, gorillas, or snakes.
No.
I'll serve you here in suburbia in my comfortable middle-class life, but please don't send me out into the bush where the natives are restless at night.
When was this song from?
90s.
This is from the 90s?
Yeah. I always saw it in the 90s. I think it was from the 90s.
You saw it in the 90s, so it could have been before.
Let's Google it.
All I'm saying is, if we're contextualizing this to, say, I don't know, the 50s,
yeah,
I can see this being a little more like, okay, popular culture, this is what you see of Africa, like the dark heart of this, and then, this is Tarzan. And that's kind of...
1995.
But this is from the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Even if it was from the 50s, I'm not saying it's a good song.
Yeah.
I'm not justifying it in any way. All I'm doing is trying to contextualize
it.
The fact that it's from 1995 makes it a lot worse, in my opinion.
Yeah. Caveat, we record these episodes in advance, so when we're recording, it's shortly after Halloween.
Yep.
But I made a playlist at work, and I put on Witch Doctor, and realized very quickly how racist that song was.
Yeah. Sometimes those songs will sneak up on you. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that song. Especially like holiday songs.
Yeah.
Because they always feel so innocuous. Like they feel so innocent, and you're like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And then it's not fine.
And then it's not, yeah.
It's a holiday tradition.
And then there was another song I wanted to talk about too. So that was the fun one. The one that makes you laugh and it's like, oh, okay, I'll give you some money for your missions trip or whatever. This is the one that was supposed to touch your heart.
Okay.
And it was a song called Thank You by Ray Boltz, who's now shunned by most Christians because he came out as gay. But this was a song that they would sing many times in churches. Either someone's going away and we want to thank them for everything they do, but more often, here's a missionary and we want you to give them money.
Right.
And it's about a guy who has a dream that he goes to heaven, and all these people are lining up to thank him for all the things he did in life that he didn't realize made an impact, like trying to get people to be Christians in Sunday school. And
the people at home can't tell, but I just rolled my eyes.
Yeah, very hard.
Very
that was
hard.
A good eye roll.
This just feels like a song that's saying I need validation.
Yeah, it really is.
And I mean, we all do, but...
Then another man stood before you and said, remember the time. A missionary came to your church. His pictures made you cry. You didn't have much money, but you gave it anyway. Jesus took that gift you gave, and that's why I'm here today. If you didn't give that money, this guy would be burning in hell.
What?
That's what they're saying. He's in heaven because
that's the conclusion. Oh my God, I hate this.
Yeah, the whole song is about thanking people for getting them up into the good place.
So that's what this is about.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting me to heaven because you helped support this thing that I was doing anyway.
Yeah. No, like so this is the kid who was missioned to by a missionary. And if he didn't give the money to that missionary, this kid would be burning in hell.
Whoa. Are you saying that you have to buy your way into heaven?
Somebody else has to buy it for you because you got to pay money for a missionary to come tell you about the Lord.
Okay, so that's fucked up.
Yeah.
If you got to buy yourself into the house of the Lord, what are you, a Scientologist or something?
Exactly.
Basically.
What were those called in the Middle Ages? The...
like indulgences?
Indulgences, yeah.
Well, indulgences were just that you could pay to sin.
That's true, yeah.
And for sin forgiveness.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they stopped those because the church was like, wait a minute.
We don't want that anymore.
This isn't good.
Yeah.
Makes us look like idiots.
Fucking idiots.
And, so.
Yeah. All right. So that's missionaries.
Yeah.
And that's thank you for giving to the Lord. Yeah. Damien, thank you.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
And also, if you want to donate to things, you can.
There are good things.
There are good things you could donate to. Things that do great things.
We're not trying to tell you not to go out there and help other people.
Yeah.
Far from it. I think we just want people to be more mindful about what those things are that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Due diligence is important in this kind of thing, especially when it's affecting other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
And like and subscribe.
And thank you.
Work, Sky Moon.